2023 is a big year for Five Nights at Freddy's. In May, we got the teaser trailer for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Then shortly after, we got the final trailer for the DLC to Security Breach, Ruin. Then we got a surprise follow-up announcement for Help Wanted 2. It's an exciting time to be a Fnaf fan right now, and while we still have to wait to get our hands on the movie and Help Wanted 2, which is coming out later this year, Ruin finally released, and it's pretty awesome. Like I mentioned previously, Ruin is a free DLC to Security Breach, the last FNAF game that released, and if you know anything about Security Breach, you'll know that it's quite possibly the most controversial FNAF game in the series. Security Breach has the most mixed reception from fans out of the mainline games. While some love Security Breach for it taking the franchise in a new direction, with a new cast of characters, the ability to free roam, and other things like the environment of the Pizzaplex and the music, some fans felt the opposite, with some saying that the game was not scary enough, on top of the bugs and glitches at launch, and the additions they made to the game's canon, like the Burn Trap ending. While I could go more in depth in talking about Security Breach, I'm going to hold off on saying too much about the base game till a later date, maybe in its own separate video at some point. Today, I want to focus on just Ruin, and share my thoughts and ideas on it, and what it adds to the game and its story. Again, this will be my opinion, so don't try and go too hard on me if you don't agree with what I think and feel about the DLC. I know that some people have strong opinions and thoughts about these games, and all I want to do is put my 2 cents in on the matter. So with that being said, let's take a dive back into a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. This is Ruin. Let's start things off by talking about what happens in Ruin. Ruin follows Cassie, a kid who enters the abandoned and destroyed Pizzaplex in search for her friend Gregory, who is trapped in the Pizzaplex. After finding a walkie-talkie with Gregory on the other line, he helps guide Cassie through the Pizzaplex to reach him. As she makes her way through the mall, she has to use a Vanny mask, which has the power to display augmented reality around her, to hack security nodes, and when all the nodes are hacked, it will unlock what's keeping Gregory locked in here. After some encounters with past animatronics like Monty, Chica, and the many Music Men, and a new entity that can only be viewed while wearing the Vanny mask, Cassie finally makes her way to where Gregory is, but before she can, she has to shut down the last security node, which is the animatronic Roxy. After finding Roxy trapped under debris, Cassie and Roxy share a moment, showing us that Cassie has been here before and has a friendship with Roxy. Though, to save her friend, she shuts down Roxy and makes her way to below the Pizzaplex to where Gregory is at. Once Cassie makes it down there, she opens the room where Gregory is, and comes to find out that Gregory isn't down there. In fact, Gregory wasn't even in the Pizzaplex at all. It was an animatronic mimicking his voice so Cassie can set it free. As the mimic walks up to Cassie to kill her, Roxy shows up and saves her from the mimic. Cassie then gets a call from the real Gregory telling her how to get out of the underground through an elevator. She then gets into a chase with the mimic, and after outrunning the mimic and making it to the elevator, Gregory reveals that the mimic has been trapped under the Pizzaplex for a long time, and because Cassie shut down all the security nodes, the security system keeping it trapped down there is off, setting it free. He tells Cassie it isn't her fault, she was just trying to save him, and while her intentions were good, they can't be followed. So Gregory turns off the elevator and it drops, leaving Cassie in the dark. The credits roll, and at the end, you can hear Roxy call for Cassie. I feel like the story for Ruin was pretty good. Nothing mind-blowing, but was still pretty good. The whole thing where Gregory wasn't really there, I wasn't surprised about, since why would he go back there? You can make the argument it was to stop Burn Trap, but I feel like it would have been really dumb to have gone back since he fought like hell to get out of the Pizzaplex in the base game. Not saying he wouldn't want to stop the Mimic, I feel like that's what they're planning on doing. That's why he told Cassie they can't be followed, but to go right back in after leaving wouldn't make much sense. Anyways, I also liked how the DLC hinted at what the canon ending for Security Breach was, which we now know is Princess Quest. The golden sword in the arcade machine, Freddy missing his head, the drawings found throughout Ruin show all the different endings besides Princess Quest. I like this because, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Burn Trap fan. Not because of his design, but just because it felt like a slap to the face for the ending of Pizzeria Simulator. I'm not going to go in depth on why I feel that way, because I might talk about that in the Security Breach video, but I am glad that the ending isn't canon anymore. Though, I'm not sure how I feel about the Mimic. While I do enjoy a new villain being introduced, I feel like their appearance was very brief and not explained well. I know the Mimic was first mentioned in the books, but I don't read the books, so this is brand new to me. I'm not against it though, so we'll just have to wait and see how Steel will handle the Mimic and what they're gonna do with it in the future. Maybe it will show up in Help Wanted 2 or the sequel to Security Breach. Speaking of which, I do think the elevator ending is canon. I haven't mentioned yet, but there's 3 different endings in Ruin. One is the elevator, another is the Mimic getting scooped, and the last one is Cassie putting on the mask and seeing a fake scenario. That one is really weird. The elevator one is canon though, because you can hear Roxy talk at the end. I don't think they would have just put it in if it wasn't canon. So maybe in the next game we'll be able to play as Cassie and try to escape the Pizzaplex. Or maybe we'll go back to playing as Gregory and find out what happened to Cassie. We'll just have to wait and see. Ruin's gameplay is pretty straightforward. You need to hack security nodes to progress through the building. To hack the nodes, you'll need to wear the Vanny mask. The catch, however, is while wearing the mask, an entity known as the Mex's security system will follow you. The Mex's sends a signal to the animatronic in the area and tells them where you're at. You can take off the mask and the system will stop following you. But to hack the nodes, you need to wear the mask. So it basically boils down to you bunny hopping between wearing the mask and taking it off so you won't get caught. This creates some tension in the moment, but overall, it isn't that worrying once you know what to do. Besides the hacking sections, there isn't much in the gameplay department besides looking around. I would have a problem with this, but the DLC is free, and knowing that they are working on Help Wanted 2 makes more sense on why the gameplay isn't more fleshed out. Also, Ruin doesn't take that long to beat, so just as it was starting to get repetitive, the game is already over. Besides, I don't really mind looking around the Pizzaplex. A thing I love about Ruin is that it shows how bad the Pizzaplex has gotten. When you first enter the Pizzaplex, you can tell off the bat how bad things are. Trash is everywhere, graffitis on the walls, destroyed furniture, and broken down machinery. It also feels way more unnerving exploring the place. It feels like you're in a place you shouldn't be. It's dark and empty, and compared to Security Breach, where it's bright, colorful, and there's always someone around, like the animatronics or the security bots, it literally is night and day, the difference between how the Pizzaplex looks in the base game compared to how it does in Ruin. There would be points I would just stand and look around and see how Steel will change the Plex, and honestly, it's pretty impressive. Another thing is you can't hide in Ruin. In the base game, you can hide in places like the photo booths, bins, and even in Freddy. It's more like hide and seek. While Ruin, you don't have any places to hide, so if an animatronic finds you, you're screwed. Ruin hides a lot of secrets and Easter eggs. There is a ton to find. Some of the most notable ones are finding the body of Glamrock Bonnie behind Bonnie Bowl, giving Chica her voice box back, And the scariest one of them all, a room full of plush babies. Seriously, these things were the reason why I couldn't beat Help Wanted for the longest time. Their minigame was the most difficult and scariest to play with a VR headset on, and when I saw them here, I got literal Vietnam flashbacks back to when I first saw them.
I guess you forgot about me.
No! What the fuck is that? I was more focused on trying to get that fucking tape more than anything.
Overall, I think Ruin is fun. It's short, but sweet. Since it's free DLC, I feel like I can't complain too much about it. If I did have to criticize, I would say the ending felt a bit abrupt. Like, there was more that was supposed to happen, but it just ends. Also, maybe they could have added more different types of gameplay mechanics besides just hacking to keep the gameplay interesting, since towards the end, it felt a bit lackluster. Though some of the highlights for the DLC to me was, again, being able to see the Pizzaplex in a broken, decrepit state, being able to see and interact with Sun and Moon again was fun, and helping them turn into Eclipse was cool too. Also, I gotta talk about Roxy. In the base game, the only one friendly towards Gregory is Freddy, so seeing another animatronic being friendly to us is nice. We only get a moment with Roxy, but within that moment, we get to experience a deeper connection with them than we had before. With the cardboard cutouts throughout Roxy Raceway, we see that Roxy and Cassie know each other, and we also see how Cassie and Gregory know each other. Cassie had a party at the Pizzaplex before, and none of her friends showed up. The only ones who did was Roxy and Gregory. So when Cassie has to shut down Roxy to save Gregory, Cassie gets upset and cries the whole way down to the pizzeria. I felt bad for Cassie. She has an actual, genuine connection with Roxy, and it feels real. Gregory only gets that connection with Freddy because Freddy helps him escape the Pizzaplex in the base game, but Cassie and Roxy have history. In the short bit we have with Cassie, we get her backstory, her connection with the Pizzaplex, and why Gregory and Roxy mean so much to her. I almost feel like she might be a better protagonist than Gregory, though we'll have to wait and see if that changes in future installments. Okay, I got a bit sidetracked there. This is supposed to be the conclusion part of the video, but I just didn't know where to put the Roxy bit. I'm excited to see where Fnaf goes from here though. The movie looks really interesting, and it's awesome seeing the original gang in live action. I'm also super stoked for Help Wanted 2. I already have a PSVR 2, so I'm going to be playing that day one. I'll probably make videos on both the movie and Help Wanted 2 when they come out, so if you're interested in seeing those, then maybe subscribe. Speaking of which, if you enjoyed this video, leaving a like will be very much appreciated. I got other videos planned for this year, so if you want to see them, just subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on new uploads, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Ruin and Security Breach as a whole. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Come back soon and have a Fazerific day.